6 games, 0 win, 1 goal. Our form is in the bin, and the frustration at Stamford Bridge is officially at boiling point. From the fullback disaster class to the conversation we have avoided for too long about Kopama. This loss to Nottingham Forest isn't just another defeat. It might be the lowest point yet in the BlueCo project. As well as the 5 things we learned from Chelsea 1, Forest 3. We have a lot to break down, but before we dive into it, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. But if you have been following me for a while, you know the rules. Help your boy get to that 10k subscriber mark. Let's dive into it. It was a long afternoon at Stamford Bridge, and frankly, the frustration is reaching a boiling point. 6 losses in the Premier League, and this one felt different. This one felt like a new low. Let's get into why this result against Nottingham Forest felt like a breaking point for this Chelsea project. And that brings me to the first thing we learned. Money can't buy happiness. We have spent enough to buy a small country, yet we can't buy a win to save our lives. It's a disgrace. For a £1.7 billion investment, I expect a squad that at least looks like they have met each other before. Instead, we are being shaded for our spending, and rightly so. Under Roman Abramovich, the money brought trophies. Under BlueCo, it brought us to the bottom of the barrel. We have no world-class centre-back or a lethal winger. We still don't have a striker who knows where the back of the net is. We have recorded our worst form under these clowns, despite heavy spending. It shows we haven't invested right. A case study is Nottingham Forest. Despite rotating heavily and playing their team B, they were already 2-0 up at the halftime. When we needed a goal, we brought on Kobe, whom I was very happy to see back, but he's a defendant. Why Forest had the luxury of bringing on Morgan Gibbs-White? How can you spend £1.7 billion and not have enough firepower on the pitch, let alone on the bench? The data is absolutely damning. For the first time in 33 years, Chelsea have lost 6 consecutive Premier League matches. They have also managed just a single victory in their last 10 outings. This isn't just a bad patch, it's a historic disaster. According to Ben Jacobs, Chelsea are now joint bottom of the Premier League table over the last 10 games. Both Chelsea and Burnley have taken 5 points and won just once. During this period, Chelsea are the joint lowest scorers, 9, alongside Wolves and Fulham, and only Burnley have conceded more goals than Chelsea. The acquisition by the BlueCo consultant in May 2022 was supposed to be a new era. They signed young players to 7 to 9 years contracts to gain the system and amortize the fee. But as of May 2026, the data suggests that this experiment in sports economics is a total failure. We have successfully navigated PSR through creative accounting and selling of assets, but the sporting cost has been the total erosion of the team cohesion. We have lacked the leadership of the previous eras, leaving us vulnerable to anyone with a bit of physical presence. Jimmy Carragher hit the nail on the head, and it's hard to admit he's right. It's shocking it comes from the top. There's 5 or 6 top players on the pitch today, and they have been beaten by Nottingham Forest Team B. Less than 12 months ago, they were taking PSG to the cleaners. There is no connection between the players and the staff, the players and the fans. In some way, it's a good thing because it tells you that football isn't just all about spending money, buying players and this revolving door. It's about creating togetherness, and there's nothing here. They look like a broken club right now. We finished the game with 68% and 21 shots. But look at the quality, or lack of it therefore. 21 shots, 5 shots on target, 2 big chances, an XG of Chelsea 2.10 to Nottingham Forest 2.23. Forest were clinical with their team B than we were with our £1 billion roster. Our efficiency is non-existent. Look at this trend across our last 6 games. 7.32 XG, 94 shots, 18 shots on target, 1 penalty missed, 1 goal. They have conceded 14 goals from 36 shots on target they have faced in that time. 1 goal from 96 shots. 6 Premier League defeats in a row, with only 1 goal scored. This is better than Gali and Clearlake's Chelsea. It's a failure on every single level. We are being outclassed by a team that has 77 hours of rest. It's an indictment on our recruitment philosophy and a slap in the face for every fan who turned up at the bridge. And that brings me to the second thing we learned, and that is the fullback disaster class. If you want to know why we walked away with 0 points, look no further than the flanks. Our fullback absolutely cost us this game. From Makukurela shocking lack of awareness leading to the first goal to Malogusto amateur shirt pulling. Their performance were frankly disgusting. In modern football, we expect our fullbacks to be creators and anchors, but today they were just liabilities. The 3-1 defeat was precipitated by a series of technical and positional errors that he simply can't make at this level. We are seeing a pattern where our defenders oscillate between looking competent and looking like headless chickens. Look at the numbers from Augusto, which tells a story of a player who was completely off his pace. He finished with a 5.9 rating, 3 defensive contribution, 1 interception, 2 clearance, 4 recoveries, 2 ground well won, 1 foul, 1 penalty committed. Gusto's contribution was damaging. In the 12th minute, he was cut out and he resorted to a cynical shot put on Awoniyi. It was lazy. It was a failure to recover his position, and the VAR stepped in. The mountain we had to climb just got twice as steep. He offered nothing going forward and was a revolving door at the back. Then we have Cucurella. While his late assist might make his stats look fine to a casual observer, the reality was much grimmer. He finished with a 6.2 rating, 1 assist, 3 defensive contribution, 1 tackle, 1 interception, 7 recoveries, 2 fouls. The opening goal in the 2nd minute was a direct consequence of Cucurella's being beaten comprehensively by Dalen Bakwe. Bakwe jinxed inside from the right wing like Cucurella wasn't even there, exploiting poor body orientation and a total lack of defensive intensity. That cross found Awoniyi, and just like that, we were chasing the game before most fans even had sat down. And that brings me to the 3rd team, Jesse Derry, a big club of class. In an otherwise dismissal collective performance, the debut of Jesse Derry provided a rare freaking glimpse of individual quality. Handed his first Premier League start due to absence of Pedro Neto and Alejandro Garnacho, Jesse Derry was arguably the most lively and effective winger on the pitch. It's a disgraceful indictment on our senior professionals that we have to look at a teenager to show some fight and directness. He didn't just look like he belonged, he looked like he was the only one who cared. Before his afternoon was tragically cut short, his numbers were impressive for a debut. He finished with a 6.7 rating, 44 minutes, 1 accurate cross, 2 shots, 1 on target, 1 penalty won, 11 carries, 3 progressive carries. Jesse Derry is the son of Sean Derry, but he's carving his own path. Unlike his father's combative style, Jesse is a dynamic winger who shimmed and jinked into Nottingham Forest penalty area with a confidence that belies his age. He was our brightest spark, constantly looking to switch play and challenge Nukanets. He provided a directness that Cole Palmer, who will get in a second, completely lacked. The high point of his debut was the sequence leading to a penalty in the 44 minutes. He bravely attacked a loose ball, beating Zach Abba to the touch, only to be clattered into a sickening collision of heads. The trauma of that moment cast a pall over the entire stadium. Derry needed oxygen, and for more than 8 minutes of on-the-pitch medical attention before being stretched off and hospitalized. While we have heard his conscious and talking, the incident robbed us of one of our most effective attacking outlets. I'm honestly fuming that an 18-year-old in his first start showed more heart and technical security in 44 minutes than players who were signed for 100 million plus. He was solid, he was lively, and I just hope he recovers fast. On today's evidence, we need his class more than ever. When Jesse Derry was stretched off, we needed someone to step up and carry that momentum. Instead, we got Liam Delap. If Derry was a beacon of light, Delap was a black hole where every attack went to die. For a player who says he wants to fight for his Chelsea career, I honestly think he picked the wrong spot. You should try UFC or DAZN boxing, because playing with him feels like playing with 9 men. His start from the match are a haunting reminder of why our front line is a graveyard for goals. He finished with a 6.3 rating, 0 goals, 0 assists, 2 shots, 1 on target. The substitution for Derry for Delap represented a staggering drop-off in technical quality and tactical intelligence. Delap was signed for £30 million from Ipswich Town, and I'm trying to figure out what that money actually bought us. He was gobbled up by the Forest centre-backs. He couldn't hold up the ball, he couldn't link play, and his primary contribution was a series of clumsy touches. His inability to do the basics meant our second half possession was utterly useless. We were passing backwards more than a team trying to see out a way, not one chasing a 2-0 deficit. The recruitment failure is massive. We spent £30 million on a player who simply never looked like scoring a goal. It's a disgrace that we have individuals in this squad who rely on physical aggression because they lack the actual skill set to succeed as a professional striker at the elite level. Watching him struggle while Forest Team B look comfortable is enough to make anyone exhausted. Which brings me to the 4th thing we learned, and that is the Cole Palmer conversation. I have avoided this conversation as much as I can, because he's one of my favorites. But we have to be real. Palmer has been absolute ass lately. His form is in the bin. It hurts me to see, but he needs to sit up or get out. Lately, he's becoming as useless as Leon Delap in the final third. For a player his quality, that is a statement I never thought I would have to utter. Against Forest, he wasn't just poor, he was a meek. He finished with a 5.8 rating, 1 key passes, 1 accurate cross, 5 shots, 2 on target, 2 blocked, 1 big chances missed, a penalty missed. The moment that defined our afternoon was the penalty. After an 11 minutes delay following Jesse Derry injury, Palmer stepped up. Usually you will bet your house on him, but the pressure of a broken club seems to be weighing him down. Palmer failed to score a league penalty for the second time in 20 attempts. His decision making was poor all afternoon. He kept cutting inside from the right, but he couldn't get any bend on his shots, and his penalty was low and predictable. Matt Sells didn't even have to work that hard for the save. The decline of Palmer in the 2025-2026 season is perhaps the most concerning part of the entire BlueCo era. Once our most reliable performer, his open play contribution has completely vanished. Look at that assist tally, 1 assist in over 1,600 minutes. For our primary creator, this is alarming. 5 of his 9 goals has been penalties, meaning in open play he's offering almost nothing. He looks like a player struggling with immense psychological weight of a failing project. At this rate, he's not just losing his spot in our starting 11, he's in genuine danger of missing the play for the World Cup. I still have my stocks in him because I know what he's capable of. But potential doesn't win games. When we are losing 6 on the bounce, he has to improve, or he has to be dropped. Simple as that. Which brings me to the last and final thing we learned, and that is the lone shining lights. In the middle of this absolute disaster class we witnessed at the bridge, Enzo Fernandez and João Pedro were the only one who played like they belonged in a Chelsea shirt. Both were awarded the highest rating in the squad. João Pedro has comfortably established himself as our most effective signing of this era. He is the undisputed player of the season for a club in total crisis. While we were wandering in desert for over 9 hours before he finally gave us some water. Check this, Chelsea have created 8.11 xG since their last goal before João Pedro strike. Think about that, over 8 xG without a goal. It took until the 93rd minute for João Pedro to break that course with a stunning acrobatic bicycle kick. That's exactly the quality and hunger we want to see from our striker. He would have easily had a brace if his header hadn't narrowly been ruled out by VAR. His number from today showed why he's the only one walking away with his head held high. João Pedro finished with a 7.7 rating, 1 goal, 2 shots, 1 on target, 4 successful dribble, 24 carries, 5 progressive carries. He's now joined an elite of strikers in our history. Only 3 players have scored 15 non-penalty goals in the Premier League during their first season with Chelsea. Jimmy Floyd also banked Diego Costa and João Pedro. To do this in a team that is struggling this much is nothing short of miracle. And we have to talk about Enzo Fernandez. Wearing the captain's armband, he delivered a proper captain's performance. We were 1-0 down and everyone else looked lost. Enzo was the only one creating openings. He was phenomenal, even hitting the woodwork with a strike that deserved better. He finished with a 7.7 rating, 7 key passes, 3 accurate crosses, 90% pass accuracy, 5 shots, 1 woodwork, 3 blocked. Enzo Fernandez remains the fulcrum of this side, despite the rumors about his future and the mess around him. He's one of the few world-class profiles who can actually execute a tactical plan. It's a shame for all their quality. We are sitting here talking about a 3-1 loss to a rotated Nottingham Forest side. 1 or 2 shining lights aren't good enough to fix a broken club, but at least these 2 gave us something to look beside the exit signs. And with that said, that's the end of the video, my friends. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. You go be.